All right, welcome friends. Genesis 37 today. It's a bitter cold night in Wisconsin, USA, but a wonderful day to get into our Bibles and spend a little time in the beautiful Word of God. And today we are in Genesis 37, and with that we're going to get right into a very, I don't want to say beautiful, but it's kind of a region, family, era-changing story where the children of Israel are kind of begun in the process of moving from their land in that region, the Canaan region, into the land of Egypt. And we're going to see this slowly play out and progress. A very harsh and brutal thing was done to a very godly man, and yet God used it for his will. Genesis 37, And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob. Joseph, being 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and the lad was with the sons of Bilhah, and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. So he kind of gave an honest, report to his father. Hey, my brothers are not doing their job, or whatever they were doing. Maybe they were doing evil, getting drunk or whatever. Now Israel loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of many colors. And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him. And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it to his brethren, and they hated him yet more. And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose, and also stood upright, and behold, your sheaves stood round about and made obeisance to my sheaf. So your sheaves were bowing down to my sheaves. And his brethren said to him, Shalt thou indeed reign over us, or shalt thou indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told it to his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more, and behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me. In other words, that his mother and father and all of his brothers were going to bow down to him. And he told it to his father and to his brethren, and his father even rebuked him. It's like, are you kidding me? It's like, come on. And so his father even rebuked him, and said unto him, What is this dream that thou hast dreamed? Shall I and thy mother and thy brethren indeed come to bow down ourselves to thee to the earth? And that kind of did later on, where Joseph became the second ruler in all of the land of Egypt, which was the predominant, for that, I say world, rulership for that kingdom. What happened in Northern Europe and Asia and the Americas, in South America, we don't really know exactly. Those cultures did go on, but in this region, they were the most powerful that we know about, and he became the second in command of all of that region, the land of Egypt. So that did pretty much happen. And his brothers envied him, but his father observed the saying. In other words, he knew his son was godly, and he wouldn't pull a fast one to lie. And that he knew something was going to happen, I believe. And his brethren went to feed their father's flock in Shechem. And Israel said unto Joseph, Do not thy brethren feed the flock in Shechem? Come, and I will send thee unto them. And he said to him, Here am I. In other words, I'm willing, I'll go. You got it. And he said to him, Go, I pray thee, see whether it be well with thy brethren and well with the flocks, and bring me word again. So he sent him out of the vale of Hebron, and he came to Shechem. And a certain man found him, and behold, he was wandering in the field. And the man asked him, What seekest thou? And he said, I seek thy brethren, my brothers. And he said, Tell me, I pray thee, where they feed their flocks. And the man said, They are departing hence, for I heard them say, Let us go to Dothan. And Joseph went after his brethren and found them in Dothan. And here's kind of where the story gets a little bit brutal. And when they saw him afar off, even before he came near unto them, they conspired against him to slay him. We're talking about his brother here. Okay, so this is pretty brutal. This is their hearts. Their hearts really hated him. And they said to one another, Behold, this dreamer cometh. Come now, therefore, and let us slay him, and cast him into some pit. And we will say, Some evil beast hath devoured him, and we will see what will become of his noble dreams, his dreams. And Reuben heard it, and he delivered him out of their hands, and said, Let us not kill him. So Reuben is having a little bit of a change of heart here. He went in, and there was incest between him and one of his father's concubines, one of his wives, and now he wants to protect Joseph from being slain by his brethren. And Reuben said unto him, Shed no blood, but cast him into this pit that is in the wilderness, and lay no hand upon him, that he might rid him out of their hands, to deliver him to his father again. The pressure of peers is powerful, and it takes a real godly man or godly woman to rise up with God at their side to ward off the evil influence of their siblings and their peers. But God will bless that man or that woman, but it is a war that has to be waged. And we see here Reuben wants to fight that war, but he slipped off for a little while, probably went off to get some ropes to come back later and get him out of the pit. But it didn't really turn out the way he had hoped. And it came to pass, when Joseph was come unto his brethren, that they stripped Joseph of his coat of many colors that was on him. And they took him and cast him into a pit, and the pit was empty. Now there was no water in it. And they sat down to eat bread, and they lifted up their eyes and looked, and behold, a company of Ishmaelites came from Gilead with their camels, bearing spicery and balm and myrrh, going to carry it down to Egypt. And Judah said unto his brethren, What profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood? Come and let us sell him. So Judah is the tribe from which the Lord comes. And he had very high points in his career and low parts in his career. And what he said here was actually almost prophetic, because he's setting the stage now to bring him into the land of Egypt. It's kind of weird how that works sometimes. They meant him evil, and yet God was planning this because he wanted Joseph in Egypt. So it's kind of hard to fathom, but their evil God used and eventually brought his will come to pass, where eventually Judah would bow before Joseph. Come and let us sell him to the Ishmaelites, and let not our hand be upon him, for he is our brother and our flesh, and his brethren were content. Then there passed by Midianite merchantmen, and they drew and lifted up Joseph out of the pit, and sold Joseph to the Ishmaelites for 20 pieces of silver, and the Ishmaelites brought Joseph into Egypt as a slave. And Reuben returned unto the pit, and behold, Joseph was not in the pit, and he rent his clothes. And he returned unto his brethren and said, The child is not, and I, whither shall I go? And they took Joseph's coat, and killed a kid of the goats, and dipped the coat in the blood. And they sent the coat of many colors, and they brought it to their father, and said, This have we found. Know now whether it be the son that you love's coat or no. And he knew it and said, It is my son's coat. An evil beast hath devoured him. Joseph is without doubt rent in pieces. Now this is really evil of the sons. They kept that evil deed that they did, and they made their father suffer for all them years. It's evil. Nonetheless, Jacob endured it, and one day he got to see his son as a ruler in the land of Egypt. And Jacob rent his clothes and put sackcloth upon his loins, and mourned for his son many days. And all his sons and his daughters rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted. And he said, For I will go down into the grave unto my son mourning. Thus his father wept for him. And the Midianites sold him into Egypt unto Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh's and captain of the guard. So we see here, God's plan is going to happen. His brothers performed this great work of evil. It's nothing less than evil. And, they suffered the consequences. But you know what? In the end, regardless of their evil, God's will was done. And, it's kind of bizarre to think, well, why would God allow that? We don't have all the answers to why God allows bad things. Bad things happen to us all. And for the Christian, God uses that bad thing for good. Because we must learn obedience. And the Bible is very clear that we learn obedience by suffering or discipline, enduring struggles. That's what makes you strong. Like a baby comes out of the womb and it's struggling for a breath, and that doctor goes whack and hits that baby on the hiney. And that baby coughs and cries and begins his struggle for life. That's what makes you strong, to struggle. And that's why we do the bodily disciplines here in the Bears Gym of bodybuilding and Bible, spiritual bodybuilding. And it makes you strong in spirit and body and soul and mind unto the Lord our God. So, with all that, we did pretty good. We made actually good time through Genesis 37. Next time, we're going to tackle chapter 38. We're going to see Joseph in Egypt, setting himself up. We're going to see a little bit of foolishness, once again, with Judah. Kind of a shame, but the Bible doesn't cover everybody, unlike certain of the pseudo churches out there, when there's priests or reverends caught in the great, sins where they should be in prison, they protect them. The Bible don't do that. The Bible tells it like it is. It's like, okay, he did this, and that's the way it is, and that's what God demands of us. If we think that we can hide things in our past and, just enter into the church and perform things and that's all forgotten about, that's not the case. As the best of all is to get all the skeletons out of your closet right away and just be done with them. Be honest, get them out, because nobody's perfect. And that way you'll be free and you'll be clean inside. And eventually their skeletons are going to come out when they least expect it. They're hoping to just kind of bury it, but it's about to come up. And the chickens are going to come home to roost. And so with that, from the Bears Gym, and Genesis 37 behind us. Next time, Genesis chapter 38. And with that, from the Bears Gym, God bless you folks.